What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing okay. Doing amazing. What did you think of that game last night, man? The Dallas Mavericks, in their last home game for a little bit, took on the Indiana Pacers and beat them in a nail biter game at the end, 107 to 105. Now, if you guys watched this game going into this, the Mavericks were the heavy favorites to win this game by much more than just 2 points. But in the end, we only won by two. But hey, I'm just happy we got the win anyway because, as you guys know, Anthony Davis went down in this game with what they're saying is an ankle injury. Looks like to me, honestly, he might have just rolled his ankle and probably has an ankle sprain. So, but that's the thing. Ankle sprains can definitely have guys out for a couple weeks to a month or so, I think. Don't quote me on that. Not a doctor. It's just I'm kind of remembering when people have gotten sprains in the past. It's been something that, we don't try to rush them back from, and we kind of allowed them to sit out for a couple weeks. And I think that's probably, we haven't gotten the news yet, but that's probably the news we're going to end up getting with AD, which I know a lot of the haters, a lot of the trade angerers. I don't know what that's not even a word or a thing, but a lot of the people angry with the trade and everything, they've been watching closely everything that happens to AD. It's like if he squints wrong, if he does, what I'm saying, if he sits down too fast, everybody's pretty, what I'm saying, they've all been quick to jump on to say something about Anthony Davis and his health. And honestly, I just don't believe it's fair to do that because I get it. He does get banged up a little bit more frequently than we've seen other players do in the past. But to me, I just attribute that to him being a five and why he says he doesn't want to play five. Because, man, them big ass dudes down there just be throwing their bodies everywhere and just doing whatever they can. Not to mention the little guys who are just running around doing whatever they can to your big ass as well, too. So it's just, when you compound all of that together, it's like, yeah, bro, you're going to end up having a bunch of like injuries and being pretty banged up and stuff like that, in my opinion. And if you don't believe that, just look at our other centers. The reason why he's playing five right now is because Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are both hurt. So just think about all that. Just take that into context when you try to talk shit about Anthony Davis and what he does for a basketball team. But it's like, but soliloquy about that over because I know people are gonna be talking so much shit about him being hurt. But it's like, bro, Anthony Davis has been the best player on our team. Like when we traded for him, he became the best player, and he's still the best player on our team right now as we sit, and he has been as we started the season. Let's just be honest about it. Also, he's out of shape right now. I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, but we tripped. Yeah, we shipped out Luca for that. I continue to understand. I completely understand. But he's out of shape right now, and he's trying to play himself in shape. But he still scored like 20 points in every game that he's like played and finished this year. So pump the brakes, man. We're in game, like, this was game five. Like, this was game five. I get it. Everybody's acting like we're in like game 40 or 50, and it's just like, yeah, this shit's happening. It's like, bro, it's game five. Like, a lot of shit's gonna happen between now and the end of the year. Like, let alone next year, like 2026, and between then and like the end of the season. So it's like a lot of shit is gonna happen between now and then, guys. So just relax. I understand. I love this team so much. It's very easy for me to get upset about shit that I'm seeing at times. But at the end of the day, we gotta believe in what's going on. I know you don't. I'm not saying believe in any specific like believe in the owners, believe in the front. I'm not saying that. You just gotta believe in your team and these players, and just honestly believe that everything is going to eventually all come together and we will be operating the way that we hope them to operate. But let's look at some of these stats from yesterday, guys. So, like I said, the Mavericks beat the Indiana Pacers last night, 107 to 105. Now, looking at some stats here, Clay, my boy Clay, Jesus, I'm a big Clay apologist, but God, Clay, you got to start giving me shit to like really be able to argue with niggas about. Because Clay went 2 of 10 yesterday, only had 5 points, man, 1 of 6 from three. You definitely don't want to see that shit. PJ Washington didn't have the great. He had his worst game of the season so far, 2 and 8. He only had 9 points yesterday, but he had 11 rebounds, 2 assists, had 2 blocks. So he was, definitely out there showing his presence, even though it didn't necessarily show up in the points wise. But you know what? Your stats don't always have to show up in the points. Anthony Davis only played 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes yesterday, 2 of 4, so he still went 50% from the floor. Had 4 rebounds, 1 steal, only 4 points. That's it, because like I said, he only played 6.5 minutes. Max Christie came through with 10 points. Not the greatest scoring night from him yesterday, but hey, he's still directing 10 points. 1 of 4 from three. He's been shooting the piss out of the ball. So, this probably his worst shooting game that he had there. Cooper Flag, 6 of 11, finished with 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, only 2 fouls, only 2 turnovers. So, you like to see that, man. He's progressing. He's getting better. We're getting better in the whole turnover. As a team, we're kind of trying to get better. I mean, hey, we're still turning the ball over at a ridiculous amount, but they're trying to get better at turning the ball over so crazily. Like, you can see that. But majority of these people, everybody will be handling the ball, and they'll each have a couple of turnovers, is what we're just seeing. And there was a shitload of dumb turnovers yesterday. D'Angelo Russell, a 5 of 11 from the field, 14 points. Not too bad, but also not the greatest either. Definitely can up that. He led the team with assists, as he should be, with 5 assists. So that was okay. That was an okay D'Lo performance. I mean, it could be better, could be worse. So you just gotta take what you get and be excited about it. Najee Marshall, 0 of 2 from the field. Oh man, all of Najee's points came from the free throw line. He was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. So, kind of want to see. He was aggressive, so he got to the line. But it's like you kind of want to see Najee drop more of those floaters, maybe even knock in a couple of threes. So, just something to monitor. Hopefully, he does better. Jaden Hardy only played 7 minutes. Only played about 8 minutes in this game. Was 1 of 3 from the field, 3 points. Not much from him, but as you guys know, if you watch the game, you understand why he didn't play as much. Next, we had Dwight Powell, and look, man, I'll be the first person to give Dwight Powell some shit for being Dwight Powell, but he is a he is a great professional. When his phone is called, he answers, and he definitely shows up to work, does what he needs to do. So 4 or 6 from the field, man. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. He was getting fouled so much, and he was knocking them down. He finished the game with 18 points. He had a plus 12, if I'm not mistaken, plus minus, the best plus minus on the entire team, if I'm not mistaken, as well, too. Besides maybe, I think, Brandon Williams. But 18 points from Dwight Powell. You don't expect that, but you accept that and you appreciate that, especially on games when we don't have our bigs that we would like to have out there in Lively, Gafford, or AD. So you know what? The fact that Dwight Powell is on the team and he can step in there, drop 18 points, and just hold it down for the big man. You got to give respect to it. You got to give kudos to it. I know we talk a lot of shit about Dwight Powell, but hey, man, he is definitely a Mavs player who we all should respect. Like, respect in that regard, because when he is out there, he does do his job. He just may not always do it to the level that we want him to do it to, but that's not exactly always on him. So there was MVP chance while he was at the free throw line. Like, it's a crazy game to see, but hey, man, we came out with the W, and I was like, and it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be weird. Every single night, we're gonna need somebody to help us out in winning these games. And hey, man, Dwight Powell definitely played a role in that last night. Next, we had Caleb Martin, who was 2 of 3 from the field. There's a lot of shit I know that's been talked about Caleb Martin as well too. So I hope he can just get into rhythm and prove to the fans and everybody why the organization decided to move on from Quentin Grimes and to sign Caleb Martin. So he finished with 6 points. I mean, hey, it's not the greatest, but we only won by 2 points. So every single point that everybody had here tonight definitely contributed to this win, and we definitely needed it. So kudos to Caleb Martin as well. And then, in my opinion, the star of the entire fucking show from last night, Brandon Williams, fresh off of being in the news for some less than satisfactory news. That is, it is what it is. That's him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not here to judge. People shouldn't be judged. Let him, like, he's got to deal with that situation. He was going through a lot. That's his situation. But right after that comes through my boy, 9 of 14 from the field, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, just killing it yesterday, like killing it on the court, and showing all the talent that it is that we know that he possesses, and that we know that he has, and just showing that he has been working in the lab with Kyrie and a bunch of our other coach, and like a bunch of our coaches, on trying to make sure that he's in position to do what he needs to do for our team in this time that Kyrie's out, and we're trying to just find any spark that we can at all in the point guard position. So, like, you love to see that. You love to see someone respond to adversity in this type of way. So kudos to Brandon Williams. Shout out to him, man. Like, hope that everything goes good for him in in his situation and things he's dealing with right now. But all in all, man, we did great. I was like, we won, man. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't the greatest games, but hey, we won. You know what I'm saying? We only shot 45% from the field yesterday. Only made 5 3-pointers all fucking night. 5 of 24. That's 20%. That is putrid. Free throws, 30 of 37. That's pretty good. 81%. Yeah, 47 total rebounds, only 21 assists, only 4 steals. Like, we've been pretty good at stealing the ball, I'm not gonna lie, this year, but only 4 is kind of crazy. 7 blocks yesterday, 19 turnovers. Going to have to fucking clean that shit up. Like, that's the thing. I want us to be where it's like, bro, we average about like 3 or 4 assists, 3 or 4 like turnovers, maybe like a quarter. So like, if we're only at like 12, maybe 13 or so, like, turnovers by the end of the game, that's what I kind of want to start trying to get us down to, because it's just too many fucking turnovers that just honestly allow teams to be in games longer than they need to be in with us. Yeah. Let's look at some of the Pacers stats really quickly, I guess. Pascal Siakam didn't have the greatest of games last night. He went 9 of 23 from the field. Not the greatest shooting night for him, but it's like not the greatest shooting night for him. Let me move this over a little bit so we can see what points they had, actually, because I just realized. All right. So yeah, he had 27 points last night. Jarris Walker, he finished with 20 points as well. So they did a lot of the scoring for them yesterday. Then you also had Ray J. Dennis with 17 off the bench. But outside of them, I mean, there wasn't anybody who was just doing too crazy. Like Aaron Nesmith, he only had 5 points, 2 of 16 from the field. He had a very, very open look at the end of the game that honestly would have won the game. Like, you can't get more open than that. To be honest, like, you cannot, to be honest with you, get more open than he was on that in the NBA. And it's one of those shots that it's just like, bro, everybody would be happy to have that attempt. And he had it, but he unfortunately wasn't able to knock it down. And I'm glad he wasn't able to knock it down either, because I did not want us to deal with it. I did not want us to be 1-4 and after last night. I'd rather they be 0-4 and us be 2-3 like we are, and just move on to Mexico City when we take on Detroit and everything, is where I'd rather us be focused on. So I'm glad he missed that, but like, man, that was terrible. Wasn't a good game for him last night. Ben Shepherd didn't do too much either, 1 of 7. We got a lot of these people who are like, look, 6 of 13 from Ray Dennis, 1 of 7 from Ben Shepherd, 2 of 16 from Aaron Naismith. Jarris Walker was 5 of 19. Like, they didn't have the greatest shooting night. They shot 34% from the field, and that's not going to get it done in the NBA. 28.9%, so basically like 29% from 3. Like, they got to the free throw line 28 times. You know what I'm saying? They had a bunch of turnovers like us too, but we still beat them by like 7 turnovers. But they only had 12. So just wasn't the greatest game for them. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of just what's been happening with the Pacers this year, without like Hallie and just like without Miles Turner, and just they're banged up right now. So they're 0-4, man. it's gonna get pretty bad pretty soon to where they're gonna have to start thinking about like, dang, do we start tanking? Do we start trying to make sure we got a top draft pick so that we just punt this whole year and make sure that like Hallie and the boys got something to like fight for and play for next year? Those are conversations they might start having. But you know what? This isn't about the Pacers. We are all about the Mavericks. So let's go back into looking at this weekend, the Mavericks. We had that loss against OKC on Monday, as everybody knows, that hard fought loss that we got towards the end that got out of hand, but the boys brought it back into hand to make it respectable at the end. And now we just beat the Pacers yesterday. So we are sitting at 1-1 for our games so far and everything. That's better than it was last week already, where it was 1-2. So I mean, hey. And next we have a November 1st game. That is Saturday. That's this Saturday against the Detroit Pistons in Detroit, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't know why I said Mexico City. Mexico City game is next week. It's next week on the 8th. But going up against Detroit Pistons, I mean, they've been looking okay. You know what I'm saying? They got one of the Thompson twins out there. Cade Cunningham is Cade Cunningham. They're coached very well. It's gonna be our first road game, so this will be cool for the boys to get on the road and, you know what I'm saying, build some bond in there and see how they, respond to playing in another arena. It'll be good to see Cooper, see how he responds to that, because this will be his first game in another arena, basically. Like, because these first 5 games have all been here at home, all been here in Dallas. So he's been acting like he's used to playing in the league now, but he's used to playing in front of our crowd. That even though, yeah, there's a lot of haters and a lot of shit talking that comes from a bunch of the fans. Like, there's literally been people at the Spurs game. There was go Spurs go. They were yelling. OKC fans were yelling for OKC as well. And then there were fire Nico chants, of course. So even though he's seen all of that, like going into a whole nother arena where it's like, yeah, they don't give a shit about you at all and want you to do good at all. Like, it'll be good to see how he responds to that. See if he has a little bit of that dog in him that likes just to hear the shit talking from fans and from other people, and that just makes him play better. Like, that might be a part, like an aspect of his game that we just don't know yet, because he hasn't played on the road yet. So we'll see that. I'm excited, guys. Honestly, like, I know, you know what I'm saying? It hasn't started off the greatest. We haven't won every single game, but we were never going to win every single game that we play. So if you thought that we were going to do that, then you were always going to be discouraged and always going to be disappointed. But I didn't, so that's why I'm not. And look at us, man. 2-3, bro. 2-3. Down right now, but hey, could be up just in a matter of days. That's all that matters. So win another one, we're at 500. Excited to see it, guys. Hope you take it easy. Talk to you later. Peace.